Hey there everyone, Andrew Lopez of Partner Channel OC at a very cool spot on site here at Marius Group out here in West LA. I have Hudson and Matt, the creators of Marius Group. Thanks for letting me come out here, man. This is so cool.
Coming, man. Good to
I
have
love, as I've mentioned recently, I love coming out on site to people's offices and kind of seeing the culture and the vibe that you put out. So I appreciate you letting me come all the way out here to West LA. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Matt, start us off.
Yeah, from Alabama originally. Moved out here 12 years ago after a girl who I ended up marrying. So I knew I was a good recruiter because she's way out of my league. And I worked at a large company, big recruiting company, 1,000 employees or something, for about 3.5 months before I started my own firm.
Oh wow! So it took 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, I took the leap, honestly. I was 24 at the time, and I just knew that I loved this job. And learned a lot about entrepreneurship in the last 12 years, for sure.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I really, really enjoy that.
Yeah.
That's super, super cool.
It was a
just
bold
that
move.
short-lived, in the corporate world, and you're like, I'm just going to do this myself.
Just going to go for it. Yeah, and it was a month before the recession hit, so the timing couldn't have been, at the time, worse, but kind of like looking back on it now, better, because it got sharp on how to do this job really quickly.
Oh, I bet. Forced you to really hone in on what you want and what you got to go after, right?
Yep.
Well, cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Hudson, a little about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee, originally. The new guy, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I am from a massive family. I've got 6 siblings and 21 grandkids. And oldest of that entire clan, and so I've kind of always had like team building just built into my life. And coming out to LA, that was kind of like a big focus for me. So how can I keep building teams out here? I also chased the girl out to LA. She was my wife already, kind of operating on the idea happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
Which has been awesome and kind of the best decision that we could have made in hindsight. So it's been awesome to plug into recruiting now, work alongside Matt, and really just help build a team internally, and then through that team build a bunch of teams all over California and New York, back in Chattanooga.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. 2 Southern boys coming out here to Southern California.
Yeah.
That's a great story in itself. As I've said, you've come to the right place.
Yes, sir.
I'm an Orange County boy, but LA is just as cool too, right?
Yeah.
Get you out of your comfort zone a little bit.
It's the best.
Absolutely.
Well, awesome. Well, I'm very excited again to be here. And tell me, what is Marius Group? This, from what I've seen and what I've looked at, you guys do phenomenal stuff. Really, really cool things. Changing the game in the industry. And I just want to know, what made you start it?
Yeah, so I would let him give the historical reference of the name because he does better than that than me. But basically, when we started the company, I realized I love this job and I really don't like how it's being done by the company I was at the time or really anybody else. And recruiting is just such a personal thing that when you're representing a candidate, I think all of the bigger shops, the complaint traditionally is that I feel like they're reading a script or they don't really care. And so we've kind of done the inverse of what everybody else does, where we really have really try to serve a candidate. It's be the first talent agency specific to tech that there is. And we really try to understand what people want to do and then ultimately give them that as a recruiting service. Corporately, Marius Group is really aimed to target those same people that have love the job, don't like the corporate environment, are really high character, great at this job, and then really we incubate them and start a recruiting company with them under our larger partnership, a network of companies.
Okay.
So we do all the back office, legal support, and then kind of the primary function I would guess would be a shared database of candidates and clients where you can kind of exchange ideas and co-work things because I had probably 5 or 6 friends that tried to start their own recruiting companies and ended up being too exhausted with trying to do all of it. And by the way, E-Myth changed my life. I read that. I don't know if you've heard of that book before. If you guys haven't read the E-Myth, it's incredible. But it's really the idea of everybody is not an entrepreneur because you start a company and you end up doing the things that you don't want to do. And so we really try to remove people from that as much as possible and help them do more together in our network.
So you create companies inside your company.
Basically, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I've never really heard of that before.
Yeah.
Not aware of any others that operate quite like that, so
No.
we feel really
I mean, especially in recruiting, network of recruiters is very small, but what I've seen is nothing has the model that you have. So thank you for touching on that, and I think what you've created is awesome. And Hudson, give us a little bit on the historical background.
Yeah, if you want to indulge me in geeking out a bit about Roman history, the third founder of Rome was a guy named Mariuss, and he basically made a name for himself by totally flipping the model of how Rome expanded its empire from just enslaving the surrounding people and forcing them to fight for him to inviting them to be a part of the Roman army and in turn become citizens and actually get a piece of land, piece of the empire. So that was kind of the initial vision that Matt had of instead of competing with all these other agencies and just trying to absorb them or merge with them, why don't we invite them to come fight with us in the war for talent, and in turn we'll give them a piece of our network, a piece of our resources.
That's huge.
Yeah,
that's really, really cool.
Yeah,
I can't say I've ever heard anything like that.
Yeah,
that's the coolest thing.
Yeah, we're having fun with it.
Well, cool. It sounds like you really, really value partnership, I would say, because you have, Marius Group, and then you have the companies underneath, and that sounds like a partnership in itself. And I'm sure all the clients you work with, you have a strong value. So if you can touch, how does Marius Group value partnership, or how do you as individuals value partnership, kind of throughout your career and into your company now?
Yeah, I think at our core, that's what we're all about. And I think to a larger extent, upcoming, I don't want to say millennials, but I guess millennials, tend to do better. I think there are a lot of stereotypes that aren't accurate, like negative stereotypes about millennials. What I've seen with the younger generation, and I guess I'm at the very tail end of that, being a millennial, they do really good work if they feel like there's a good cause for it and if they have ownership in it. And so we operate purely on partnerships at every level. With our candidates, we partner up with them to really see how we can help each other. Clients, the same thing, we build teams. And then internally, kind of corporately, it's all about really aligning our goals together and helping serve each other. But it's not that I think that the vertical corporate structure is going away more so, more and more. We're not our grandparents' generation where we just go sign in and work for some manager for 30 years and hope to get promoted to that position. It just doesn't work like that now.
Yeah.
Just with how quickly technology moves and information travels. So that's really, partnerships, we're all about partnerships at every single level.
That's good. Yeah. That's why I created Partner Channel OC, to talk about the value of partnerships. So
nice.
Can you touch a little bit more on that?
I guess kind of to Matt's point, my grandfather always said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's been fun now to start to have a dialogue with him about the mantra I'm coining, we're coining, which is, if it ain't broke, break it and build it better. Yeah. And that's just kind of the millennial mindset, I think, if I look at our generation, all the innovation that's happening, across so many new tech startups, they're really just improving and maybe even exponentially improving something that's been status quo for the past couple decades. And so in the recruiting game, it's very similar for us. We think that, it's kind of cliche, but 1 + 1 = 3 in recruiting. If you can actually build a partnership or an alliance, as we like to keep the Roman references going, then everyone ends up being able to do a lot more and add a lot more value, not just to the company internally, but to the candidate, to the client, kind of have a much bigger reach.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this, to come to your office, and thank you for being a part of Partner Channel OC. I'm going to put their contact info below. Please reach out to Hudson and Matt. They're here to take care of you, partner with you in any way. Or if you have the thought of maybe starting your own little thing, these guys are here to help you get your feet off the ground and partner up together and create something really, really powerful. So, Matt, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Hudson, thank
Thanks,
you so
man.
much.
Appreciate it.
And this will air soon. Tune in, Partner Channel OC, and thanks again. Cheers, everybody.
All right.